Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am Luna. This is Luna and Friends, where we talk about all things spiritual. We talk about mind, body, and spirit alignment, and basically whatever esoteric type things you want to talk about. So each episode, we have a guest, and the guest for this week is my longtime friend, Trisha. Trisha, would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So as Luna mentioned, my name is Latricia. We have known each other since high school. So we go back quite a bit. So I'm a mom. I have two kids. I'm set to get married next year. Professionally, I work in human resources, specifically the benefits in diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI space. And I'm also a licensed life insurance agent.
Nice. So, how do you manage all that while being a parent?
Whew. Um, one day at a time. One day at a time, and just finding whatever little spaces I can take for me, however that looks for the day, honestly.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for allowing time for you to join us here today, just so we can get some of your wisdom and definitely going into what you had mentioned as a beneficiary worker. So, with you doing life insurance, what, why did you choose to go that route?
Yeah, so this past year has been very, I can't even think of the right word. Um, Interesting. It's had its ups and downs. I'll say that over the last year or so. So I lost my aunt in November of last year, and then my fiance and I got engaged at the end of February. Um, a week and a half later, my brother died unexpectedly. He was killed. Um, the very next day, my fiance's 1-year-old nephew died from SIDS. And all three of them did not have life insurance. So our families were going through so much already, just going through the natural grieving process and having to worry about how we're going to bury our loved ones, give them proper burials, and memorialize them in the best way is expensive. It is really, really expensive. So everyone was trying to get money together to, as I said, send them off in the best way we could, but it was a struggle. And as they say, weddings and funerals bring out the best and worst of people. That's literally what happened. So I had been interested in becoming a life insurance agent years prior, but I finally took the leap after my brother died and said, I don't want anyone, or at least I would like to try to help as many people as I could to help as many families not go through what our families went through during that time. So that's the long answer of how I got started in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big major impact on both of you and then your outgoing family as well.
Mhm.
So how do you feel that if you were to add life insurance, how does that benefit someone for the future?
So I think that people may hear about life insurance, but may not fully understand the ins and outs of it because there are so many different kinds of life insurance. So there are two kinds of life insurance. There's whole life insurance that has cash value, and then there's term insurance. And then, of course, there are a bunch of different other kinds of insurance. But to answer your question, ultimately, life insurance, it's for the living, honestly. It's to have things in place for our loved ones. Part of it is for when we're no longer here, right? But then there are other living benefits that you can use as well when you have life insurance. But again, people just don't know what they don't know. But honestly, a lot of people of color have life insurance, but many of us just don't have enough. Many people just get just enough life insurance to say, oh, I just want enough to get buried. But I think culturally, we need to think a lot bigger than just getting enough, right? We want to think bigger for ourselves and for our families. So I think gradually we're getting there. But my ultimate goal is, like I said, just to educate as much as I can and get the word out there.
Yeah, definitely. So to me, as you were speaking, and I'm picturing this, I guess the spiritual side of me sees
Mhm.
it as a way to break that generational wealth curse.
Mhm.
Because I made a joke, it was like a TikTok, it's funny. I was eating like a thing of applesauce and it was like when you when you get left generational curses or generational debt instead of generational wealth,
Mhm.
and that's all true, and not having that and being prepared for what I call your legacy, your
Mhm.
family, your children, because that's your name when you're
Mhm.
no longer here. And it's based on, what you've done, what you've accomplished, and how far you chose to take your life. And so it's like you're leaving that a part of you for your legacy and for your generation to come.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, you hit it right on the head. And if I can speak honestly, which is the only way I know how to do, the majority of people, meaning white people, have been taking out hundreds of thousands, millions of dollar policies on their lives for years. So they've been able to, as you said, stay ahead with the wealth gap. And people of color just continue to be further and further behind. But I think what I love about our generation, people can say whatever they want about millennials, but I think we are all for, as you said, breaking those generational curses and questioning things that we've just been doing for years and generations that may not work anymore, right? And not to say that previous generations didn't, but we are definitely making more efforts to set our kids and our families up to have much more than what we did, or at least for me and from what I see, for sure. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I mean, and life insurance, it's the way I look at it, it's an instant estate, which is what it is. Personally, like I said, I have young kids. I have multiple policies that come to about close to $750,000. Because if, God forbid, something happens to me and I pass away, my kids will still need, right? They will still need a place to live. They'll still need whatever it is that my income would have provided had I still been alive. They'll still need transportation for school. They'll still need education funds, babysitting, football. Um, I thought of football because my son has his first game tomorrow. Um, any debt, you don't want your family to still have to worry about any debt that you may owe. Debt doesn't always just go away because you pass away. creditors still want their money. So you never want to leave your family in a situation where your death has become an even bigger burden to them now that you're gone. So we have to take that responsibility to make sure that we have our life insurance in place, make sure that we have living wills, make sure that we have power of attorneys, that if something happens and I'm in a car accident, God forbid, and I can't speak for myself, do I have something in place that says who I would want to speak up for me? These are things that we don't want to necessarily think about, but we have to. We have to. It forces us to dig deep and really think about who we really trust, also, right? Who will take care of our estates, um, beneficiaries, who would we trust to handle our affairs when, if we're alive but unable to, when we pass away, who will carry that legacy and keep what I started going?
Yeah. So how would you, as like a worker in that department, who would you suggest to leave all of that to?
So it depends. It depends on the situation, right? So, like you and I, we have minor children. So, personally, I wouldn't want to leave everything to my children right away because they're young. They're not able to manage any finances. So, for people like us, it would be better to have the primary to be that person that would take care of your children if something were to happen to you or I today or tomorrow in the near future, right? But then you would also, my recommendation would also be to set up some sort of trust accounts for those kids to access when they're older or when they're, and you can set it at whatever age. Personally, I think 18 is too young to just have immediate access to a large amount of money because thinking back to my 18-year-old self, I can't say I would have managed it all that well. So, and of course it depends by person, like I said, um, but those are some things that um, I would recommend having some sort of trust fund for your kids for them to access when they're older. And it doesn't even have to be a college. Yeah, I would say it depends. But that's what I would do and that's what I would recommend for people like us who have still children that are still pretty young and will likely need someone to take care of them for a while, but still having provisions or even an investment account in place that you could start paying into now that they could have access to once they're an adult and you deem that they're responsible enough to manage the funds.
So, question, say if I have my business, I have, everything, whatever I have, all my belongings, things like that. I don't have any life insurance. So if I was to pass, what would what would happen to all everything now?
Honestly, if if you are not married, well, if you are married, then the automatic is that it your things will go to your spouse. If you are not legally married, then more likely than not, everything will just go to probate. And that would leave your family to have to go to court and fight the court for whatever belongs to you because everything you own has defaulted to the state.
Mhm. So again, it's adding more burden and things like that, and then they would have to
Exactly.
fight.
Yep. And it costs to go to court, it takes money, it takes time, all of the above. Yep.
So as an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
would how much would you recommend, or how strongly would you recommend us self-employed individuals to obtain life insurance?
It's extremely important for entrepreneurs, anyone who has anyone that's dependent on them should have life insurance. But when you're thinking about how much life insurance you should get, that would depend on how much is your business worth? How much have you put into it? Do you have anything that would still need to be paid off to people if, again, God forbid, something happened and you passed away? So you would have to take into account all of your assets, liabilities, and dependents to try to determine how much life insurance you would need. Because I'm sure you would want your business and your assets to remain with your family or with your spouse or whoever. So ultimately, if you want to make that decision, which we should we should be able to make that decision for who gets what in the time that
Yeah,
we go. We don't want to just leave that to some attorneys or the state because they don't care. They don't care. So we should set those provisions in place to make sure that we have a trusted individual and then also let whoever this trusted individual know, like, hey, this is what's going on. I have life insurance. I've named you as the beneficiary. This is what you can expect. Because if you get life insurance and have a beneficiary, but they don't know that you even had life insurance, if something happened, people be running around not knowing that you were actually covered.
yeah, definitely. So
Mhm,
one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you onto here is basically because at us, me as an entrepreneur, I actually sat with you in a meeting and learned a few things.
mhm,
But it really hit me that, we're us in the spiritual community, we're doing our businesses and we're breaking generational curses and we're doing a lot of things that we're guided to. And to me, I was guided to the life insurance policy.
mhm.
And I know it's an extra fee, and us as, you know, yeah, thriving entrepreneurs, we, our funds can be limited at times.
Mhm.
But in reality, once you get to a certain place, I highly recommend it even for myself when I get there because it's this is your legacy. What's your goal? Your goal is to create this business and create something new.
Mhm.
And while we're trying to help break us out from the big corporate and whatnot. So having these policies to protect us is
Yep.
something that's needed for our young ones, and for when they grow older, and then even your grandchildren.
Yep.
So because you figure if that will is to them, but then if they pass, it will go to your grandchildren, and that's how you create that generational wealth by having these policies and getting your family to get on policies.
Yep. 100%. And what I think what people may not realize is, and we talked about this, is that life insurance really isn't that expensive. It's really not
Yeah.
that expensive. Like I told you, I have almost $750,000 in life insurance. I pay less than $100 a month. Less than $100 a month. People spend $100 a month on Starbucks, shoes, going out for a night on the town, like, but that's just me. And you don't necessarily have to get a high amount. You can get whatever you can afford at the time. As they say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? Like we all drive around and have car insurance. We all have health insurance. We all have home insurance, but you can't tell me that those things are more valuable than my life.
That's true.
My
And
life means more. Yeah. So
that's a way that we protect ourselves. And then also too, like having a will and at least a document. If you can't
Exactly.
obtain all of these, have some type of notarized document
100.
stating where you want your legacy to go to and who to
Exactly.
have control. So, Trisha, we're gonna change the subject a little bit. And I haven't talked to you in many, many years. So I want to see how you are doing.
Losses that I've talked about. I'm in, I'm blessed, honestly. I'm blessed. I really can't put it no other way because, of course, I've seen not good things, right? And any day to be alive, to have a sound mind, to be able to make your own decisions and care for yourself and walk around honestly, as probably lame and cliche as it probably sounds, it's truly a blessing. And I'm thankful to be able to do that. I'm thankful to be able to still grow and continue to learn. I'm glad that I have the mindset of growth. Like, I'm not closed minded. I'm not, no, I want to learn all the things. I want to help all the people. I want to do all the things. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm in a pretty good space.
That's great. I'm really happy for you. And then you talked about you're going to be getting married soon and you just recently got engaged. And that's so happy. I'm so happy. And where are you at? You're in a different state now, correct?
Nope, I'm still in Illinois.
Oh,
I'm in Chicago.
I don't know why I thought that you moved to like somewhere else. I don't know.
Mm-mm. No,
Oh,
ma'am.
well, that's great.
Yep, I'm still here for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where would be your dream place that you would like to go and retire to?
Honestly, I'm over the Midwest. I am one of those people that complain about the weather every year. So I would love to go somewhere where it doesn't snow, like a Texas, California, Georgia, all the typical places. But hey, that's
I'm
what
with
we're headed
you.
for. Yeah.
I said I like the summers here, but I need a winter home in somewhere else. Like in I don't know, Florida. So somewhere where it's like mild. I like the mild weather. It doesn't have to be hot.
That's it there, right? An everyday thing that people think about. Like, you know what? I want to have a home here. We don't have to just be confined. So I love that.
Yeah, definitely. We're here to be free and here to experience and go where you like. I mean, like I feel like us who've been here for Chicago for a while, we bear these winters and we drive in it and we survived in it. So we deserve to go and migrate.
Exactly. I've spent enough of my life. My spirit should go anywhere else in the world. Well, not anywhere else, somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Wherever you feel connected to
Yep.
and where you could be at peace.
Mhm. 100%.
So our time is just about done. So I just want to thank you once again for taking out the time to come and chat with me and to teach others and just give them a better insight on what life insurance can do for them and for their families.
Of
So
course.
would you mind telling everybody how they can find you on social media to
Of
set up an
course.
appointment?
Yes, yes. I'm available via phone, email. Um, my number is 773-962-7464, or I can be reached via email at latriciacleveland@gmail.com. It's LatriciaCleveland at Gmail. Um, or my Facebook is Trish Cleveland. Um, yeah, find me, whatever works for you. I'm more than happy to just meet with people, share information, give a free quote. We can price around and just see what works for you. I'm not for just selling anybody anything. As I said, I really just want to educate more of us.
Yeah, definitely. I know it definitely opened up my eyes to it.
Mhm.
And just make sure, if you go into that, always choose the policy that fits you and always fit what would your title be?
So,
Insurance rep?
licensed life insurance agent.
Okay, there you go. I like the way that sounds. So make sure your licensed life insurance agent is meeting your needs and very responsive and walking you through it and educated. So yeah, so thank you so much again for coming on here and being very educational. So if you like to come and visit our shop, we are here in Chicago, Illinois, and you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Luna's Enlightenment. And you can send us an email if you like. We have a full moon tonight. So if you're a little emotional, letting some things go,
Ooh,
that's what the energy is.
mm, thank you for that.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone, have a great night, and I'll see you guys later.